Welcome back, watch fans. Today we're going to take a little ride with the Fastrider by Tudor. Stay tuned. So today we're going to look at one of my favorite brands. And I know I have a lot of favorite pieces and they typically kind of revolve around some of the same brands. But to me, this is one that you get the biggest bang for your money. I mean, when you talk about quality, when you talk about the longevity of the piece, when you talk about a piece still being virtually swim-proof, when you talk about the synthetic sapphire crystals and all the features you get, the movements and everything that you're going to be building into one watch, this is the perfect working man's watch. And that's exactly what Hans called it. So with Tudor, in case you did not know, it was a company that was actually created in 1924. It was actually going to be registered in 29. And then that company was actually going to be opened up in Hans Wilsdorf's best friend's name. Yes, this guy was a marketing genius. So when he created Rolex, he also created Tudor. He just knew that it was, one of those things where you want to build a little bit on the first one before you go to the next. So he opens it up in his best friend's name, and then he buys it from him. Could you imagine how much he would buy that name for? Well, I'll tell you because I know you don't know. He buys it from his best friend for 1 Swiss franc. Now that is an amazing friend. One will sell you back a company that he knows you are amazing at marketing, and he's watching you start to create these feats with Rolex. And he says, no, I love you enough that we can definitely do this, and I'll partner with you just for tax purposes, because that was really the only proof or reason for it. The Tudor shield is actually going to be originated from the Tudor family. So when you look at the Tudor and you see that shield, that is the true Tudor family shield that he actually purchased the rights to, as well as the Tudor flower. Those are two of the things that you'll see a lot of times associated with Tudor. And it's just because he actually purchased those rights and they are of the original Tudor family. With the Fastrider is actually going to be a mixture of a few watches that they paid homage to. So when you look at the Tudor Monte Carlo and you look at how things are applied, and then you look at the Tiger Prince. The Tiger Prince is actually going to be the first chronograph style, or one of the first chronograph styles, because you would have the Datejust chrono that would come actually from the Tudor family as well. These pieces were definitely inspiration on the Fastrider. So then you say, well, when did the Fastrider really come about? Well, June 30th, 2011, Ducati and Tudor actually announced that they have a piece in partnership. For the first time, a Swiss brand is actually sponsoring Ducati. And Ducati is so in love with it, and they make the absolute perfect piece. No, this was not a number piece. However, it was kept in low production. For us, at this time, we only have one. And this is not an easy watch to find, especially in the condition that we have it in right now. But that's what makes us SwissWatchExpo. We give you the things that you cannot find. I love the watch. We'll dive a little bit more into the things that you get. At this time, you would always get the additional strap, the fabric strap. With that actually represents the original way that the military would wear the watches. They actually loved and needed time so much, and it was such a rare thing to have, that they would actually cut their rip cords from their parachute and tie it around the watch. This was going to be the easiest and best way to make sure you did not lose your timepiece during your jump, because in the field, if you had access to time, that actually gave you an advantage over your enemy. Remember, there's no electricity during these days. That's why we buy these pieces, because it's nothing electrical. Everything is fully mechanical inside of the watch. Now, this particular fabric strap that's going to be inside of the case is actually made by a company who does the cords and robes for the Vatican. It is one of the most phenomenal things in the world to watch them do. To make this one strap, they load the machine and it takes 3 weeks just to load it. Yes, one of the reasons why I say that this is the perfect working man's watch. You get so much bang for your buck. A strap that takes 3 weeks just to load the machine before you even get or dive into the fact that you need to create it. You tell me what you think about that. That makes a huge deal for me. When we look at the Fastrider itself, we can actually see that there are applied markers on there. The applied markers are so that it gives a nice bold look. It gives that richness, that robustness that you're going to want for a male, especially on this watch. And now we do have females who wear it as well. I love it. I love the look on a woman who's a CFO or CEO, and she just has that piece that pops and it says, I'm strong and I'm in the room. I'm woman and hear me roar. I love that too. It really stands out. But with those Ducati stripes on there, one of the most phenomenal things that you can see is when you're watching Ducati racing, pay attention to how low on a curve you'll actually see that cyclists get. You can literally see them sometimes a hundredth of a millimeter above the ground. That is extremely low. It looks like they're going to be scraping. Well, that's exactly what you get when you look at the lines and curves. On this Fast Rider, it gives you that piece where the lines and curves just drop and slope perfectly into the piece. So when we look at how the shapes of the case actually bring out, when we look at the applied markers on there, and we can talk about some of the features like the fact that it does have a tachometer or a tachymeter, which just measures anything in high production within 1 unit, or we would say 1 minute because 60 seconds equal a minute, but 60 minutes equal an hour. So you can actually use this for high measurements of speed. It's going to tell you how fast that element is actually going, whether you're measuring for a motorcycle or you're just in a bean factory. It can tell you how many beans you're producing inside of a minute. But with this particular piece, it is made and it is in need for speed, and that is why it is Ducati, one of the most powerful motorcycles, even one of the newest pieces that they're releasing for 2023 and 2024, considered to be one of the most powerful motorcycles you'll find. You get that in your watch with the actual leather that's going to be black. And if you actually see in the inside, you actually have that red tone in the inside of it as well. You get a piece that definitely stands out. You get a piece that gives that richness. I love the way that the date is actually separated on this watch, and it's coated with a PVD pusher. Yes, a PVD pusher. The reason being is they actually include an aperture inside that you would use, and you use that to actually push to change the date. This keeps the date separate. So from the date wheel itself, by having that piece to be separate, I don't have to worry about breaking the teeth or actually messing up the watch because I didn't stay out of the danger zones, which were between 10 and 2. That is going to be something that's really big. That's a huge focus and something that's going to be important for keeping the watch itself. Now remember, not only can we measure things that are in high unit of production, we can also, on this same watch, we can decide that we want to use it as a GMT. It's one of the things I always make mention of to you. If I started at midnight or started at 12 p.m., it will keep my home time. I can then change wherever I'm traveling to my major hands, and I have both time zones on there as well. I really love the fact that Tudor created this piece. I even had a chance personally to go to the Tudor United Sports as one of their guests, and it was one of the most fantastic events that I've ever been at. I'm absolutely in love with it. Tudor will always, always have my loyalty, just like Rolex, just because I believe that the pieces are well built. The pieces are built for success, and they are built for me to enjoy. I want you to tell us what you think here at Swiss Watch Expo in the comments below.